Coming up on the Q30 Newscast, find out how students are going to be celebrating Halloween this weekend.
And Skylar Haynes finds out more from a Nigerian student on how he is dealing with all the riots back at home.
Plus, Kay Pattyfoot visits Lyman Orchards right here in Connecticut.
All this and more on the Q30 Newscast.
Welcome to Q30 Newscast. I'm Jack Main.
And I'm Hephzibah Rajan. We've got a lot to cover tonight.
Tonight's top story, a new increase in the number of COVID cases here at Quinnipiac. The university's COVID dashboard is reporting 8 new positive cases. 5 of them are off campus, while 3 are on campus. Several students have opted to return home to isolate themselves.
The school reported that a majority of the off-campus cases stemmed from being in contact with previously confirmed positive cases. Those students continue to quarantine as the university remains at a yellow alert level. Currently, the number of cases total to 56, and the number of students in isolation has risen from 19 to 27.
While the increase in cases on campus, as well as across New England and the nation, Quinnipiac is being proactive in trying to reverse the trend. With Halloween weekend approaching and students' time on campus coming to a close, Quinnipiac's Chief Medical Advisor, Dr. David Hill, and the administration are asking students to take extra precautions and keep up with the safety guidelines.
We don't want a small group of students to jeopardize it for the rest of us. And it's not just other students, it's faculty and staff. Faculty will be concerned if there are increased cases on campus, and it will jeopardize their willingness to do on in-person.
The popular donut shop on Whitney Ave is temporarily closed as a worker has come in contact with the virus. The popular donut and sandwich shop will undergo a deep clean during this time. It is unclear how long the shop will be closed and if somebody and how many people tested positive or if they are experiencing any symptoms.
Another 3 states have been added to Connecticut's travel advisory list as the number of positive cases continue to spike across the country. Massachusetts, California, and Pennsylvania were added on Tuesday, while Rhode Island was taken off. New Jersey and Delaware haven't been put on the list despite meeting the criteria, since a lot of people commute to these states for work. However, Governor Lamont strictly discourages any non-essential travel.
Halloween weekend is this weekend, but it might be the time to trick or treat. And how are you going to do that while you stay COVID safe?
Jennifer Cuevas has the latest on how students plan to stay busy and safe around Halloween weekend.
As fall comes to an end and the cold weather approaches, there are starting to be some concerns in the rise of cases, especially after students return to campus following the Halloween weekend. Dr. David Wang, Quinnipiac's medical director, said he is concerned of the increase of COVID-19 cases.
The community around us becomes more involved. It's going to be harder and harder for us to keep the Bobcat bubble going. And therefore, I do worry that as we move forward, it's going to get to be more difficult.
Senior student Andrew White is also concerned, but is staying in good spirits for Halloween weekend.
It's a little bit concerning what could potentially happen in past weekend as well. I do think Quinnipiac's been doing a good job at keeping it contained as much as possible.
And if you aren't in the spirit of going out, don't worry. There will also be entertaining events happening on campus.
WQIQ, the radio station, and we're going to be working with SPV on Saturday afternoon. They're doing a painting of the pumpkins, a lot of fun for students in Southlot, and we're going to bring a live broadcast out there, play some music, have some hosts out there, have a lot of fun in the afternoon.
Tom Ellett, QU's Chief Student Experience Officer, advises students to get creative and be someone different.
Halloween's all about dressing up and being someone different. So this is a great chance to do that.
So with the possible increase in cases following Halloween weekend, it seems that many students prefer to stay the night in for this year. Reporting for Q30 News, I'm Jennifer.
Although Halloween will not look the same this year, the Student Programming Board is hosting Halloween to keep students engaged on campus. There will be plenty of events for students to attend during the course of this week. However, due to weather predictions, the Food Truck Friday event has been postponed. Make sure to reserve your spot ahead of time for all the activities.
SP literally has just a plethora of events that are so unique, so fun that you will never really see off campus. And it allows you to get to meet new people, obviously like social.
Last week, Quinnipiac South Asian Society celebrated the festival of Navratri by hosting their annual Garba night. Traditionally, Garba is performed during Navratri, a 9-night-long Hindu festival. Devotees worship the different avatars of the Hindu goddess Durga. This year, it was from the 17th to 26th of October. Students attended the event in Burt Khan for a night of dance and crafts. The club's executive board taught the dance to all of the attendees and celebrated culture together. The Student Government Association has now filled all of their positions. Out of 43 positions, only 34 were initially filled, leaving 9 seats empty. Anthony Marinelli, the newly appointed representative senator for veterans, is one of these students who stepped up. He hopes to make the college transition for other veterans easier. One of his initiatives is to provide parking spots designated for them.
So many people have ideas, and it's important to be able to articulate them. So for me, this is, applying that theory of actually developing my communication skills. Yeah, so I just looked at this as a good experience to really get involved, get to know people, and at the same time, continue my self-improvement.
U.S. Representative Rosa DeLauro talked about campaigning and working in politics at a virtual event yesterday. The event was hosted by the leading Women of Tomorrow, Political Science Association, and QU Democrats Club. DeLauro, a Democrat herself, is also the co-chair of the Democratic Steering and Policy Committee in the House of Representatives. She has served as a representative for Connecticut's 3rd Congressional District since 1991 and is now up for re-election. During the hour-long event, DeLauro mentioned her contribution to fostering equality in national leadership. Coming up after the break, Kaylin Terry has more on the riots in Philadelphia and the increase in the coronavirus infection rate across the nation.
But before that, Katie O'Keefe has the 3-day weather update for us. Katie?
Thanks, guys. Here's a look at the 3-day weather preview. Today and this morning, we saw drizzles in the morning. Rest of the day was very cloudy, and now tonight and going into tomorrow, it's very cold. Lower temperatures dropping as high as 50 and as low as 37. Tomorrow looks like a lot of rain, though, starting as early as 7 a.m. So be sure to have your umbrellas if you leave the house. Friday, the coldness continues as we could see the first snowfall of the season. Rain will continue into Friday morning, and with the temperatures dropping, we could see snowflakes in the morning. Will we see snow in the weekend? More after this.
Hey, let's check out this park. Oh, wow, that's really cool. To find a great local park or forest near you, go to discovertheforest.org.
Welcome back to Q30 Newscast. Quinnipiac Graduate Student Council, in partnership with the Black Student Union, hosted an event last night to honor the memory of George Floyd. The webinar was moderated by minister and activist Niall Fort and was accompanied by Floyd's aunt and uncle, Selwyn Jones. George's uncle recounted the story of when he was informed that his nephew was dead. The news came as a shock as Jones was watching the video of George's murder. As his sister updated him, looking back, Jones said, quote, "And I found out that one of my disciples wasn't here anymore because of the thing we've been battling for hundreds of years, hatred. Hatred of another human being because of the color of their skin," end quote.
Kaylin Terry is in the studio today to give a national update.
Thanks, Jack and Hephzibah. Starting off national tonight, 30 officers are left injured and 91 people were arrested after a protest quickly turned to a riot in West Philadelphia early Tuesday morning. A fatal police shooting of an alleged armed black man led to an uproar of protests Monday night. Hundreds of people lined the streets in support of Walter Wallace Jr., who was shot and killed by police officers. These protests quickly escalated as protesters began throwing objects at the barricaded officers and setting police cars on fire. One sergeant was even run over by a truck during the riot. 91 people were then arrested early Tuesday morning. Since then, Governor Tom Wolf has confirmed that the Pennsylvania National Guard has been deployed to protect local businesses. Moving on from the riots, coronavirus numbers within the United States has soared over the past few weeks. COVID cases have surged to be the fastest rate of infection since the pandemic started. The U.S. averaged over 71,000 cases in the past week, which marks the most cases in a 7-day stretch since the start. This contradicts the statement President Trump has continued to make regarding how the U.S. is, quote, rounding the turn, end quote. Even in low-stakes states like Wyoming, who has had few cases so far, has had a 475% spike of cases. This serves as a reminder to continue to stay safe and follow the guidelines to help prevent the spread of the virus. On to California. Santa Ana winds have caused 2 fires within Southern California to continue spreading rapidly. Residents of Southern California have had no other option but to evacuate after 2 major wildfires erupted. The Silverado fire erupted on Monday, growing to 11,200 acres and only 5% containment due to Irvine experiencing very high winds and low humidity. The other fire, the Blue Ridge fire, has had 0 containment so far. Over 100,000 people have been evacuated from the destruction of both fires. 2 firefighters suffering from 2nd and 3rd degree burns were also injured in the efforts to contain the wildfires. That's all I have for national. Back to you guys on the desk.
Thank you, Kaylin. Nigeria has captured global attention after citizens took to the streets to call out the country's special anti-robbery squad. But after Nigerian security forces repeatedly opened fire on demonstrators and left more than 10 dead, the movement has expanded. Skylar Haynes spoke to one of the Nigerian students on campus to find out more about what was happening and how they were coping.
Over the past couple weeks, I've woken up every morning just kind of expecting the worst.
Nigerian protests against government violence and police brutality have reached a tipping point. But for Nigerian students here at Quinnipiac, it couldn't be farther away from their dorm rooms and classes, and yet it's the only thing on their minds.
Everyone should be sort of aware, at least to some degree, of what's going on in other places in the world that people within their community are from.
They're probably my 2 closest friends at Quinnipiac, and it's been a really tough few weeks for them.
It's very hard to kind of wake up in the morning and open up your social media and just see pictures of dead bodies, very graphic photos of vandalism, buildings on fire, and these are like buildings, roads that I go on every single day when I'm at home. So it's definitely hard being here and kind of feeling absolutely helpless.
Feeling helpless but not hopeless, the education can reshape the narrative and make a difference from Hamden.
They think that the protests got extremely violent and it was because of the violence that there was retaliation by the military. But what people don't know is they were absolutely peaceful protests and people died waving the national flag and singing the national anthem.
And while our flags may not be the same, the movement is one that begs for international awareness.
Obviously, we're students, and like a lot of people, we're prioritizing what we're studying, we're prioritizing like things that are in our own circle, but if everybody did that, then change wouldn't happen.
If I teach someone and they receive that like education, they go out and they teach someone else.
I wouldn't want anyone to feel sorry for me or to pity me. I would want somebody to come up to me and be like, hey, I see what's happening in Nigeria. How can I help?
This has been Skylar Haynes for Q30 News.
Only 6 days until the historical election, and there is a lot happening on Capitol Hill.
It's all anyone is talking about, Jack. Let's go to Chris Longchamp for our political news tonight.
Thank you, Hephzibah and Jack. Justice Amy Coney Barrett was confirmed on Monday by the Senate in a 52-48 vote that was along party lines. Senator Suzanne Collins of Maine was the only Republican to vote against the confirmation of Justice Barrett. Justice Barrett used to be a law professor at Notre Dame before she was a judge on the U.S. Federal Court of Appeals for the 7th Circuit in Chicago. Justice Barrett was sworn in on Monday by Justice Clarence Thomas, who has been one of the court's longest sitting conservative justices. Chief Justice John Roberts gave Justice Barrett the second and final oath on Tuesday. The president is also expected to announce that the Medicare and Medicaid health care plans will cover the COVID-19 vaccine once it is available. The plans will cover the out-of-pocket costs for the vaccines. Many government officials have been working hard over numerous weeks to rewrite the regulations of these two plans. There are currently 4 vaccines in phase 3 of testing, and Dr. Anthony Fauci says that the experts should know by December if the possible vaccine is safe. The vaccine will not be widely available until at least a few months into 2021. And finally, the Senate has adjourned until after Election Day without passing another COVID-19 relief bill. The House passed a $2.4 billion bill, but the Senate has been busy with the confirmation hearings and the vote of the new Justice Amy Coney Barrett. The Senate Republicans proposed their own $500 million plan, but the Senate Democrats argued that the bill did not go far enough to help the American people. This should be a pressing issue for the new president that will be elected. And back to you guys on the desk, Hephzibah and Jack.
Stick around with us. There's more to come after the break.
Katie O'Keefe gives us the full weather report and the weather across the state.
There was an old woman who lived in a shoe. She had so many children, she didn't know what to do. She gave them some broth without any bread and kissed them all soundly and put them to bed. Hunger is a story we can end. End it at feedingamerica.org.
They call me Prince like I'm royalty or something. But the places I've lived ain't no palaces. So I don't need grilled salmon or a new scratching post. Just give me a cardboard box and a can of tuna and we're good. You can even change my name. I'm cool being the kitty formerly known as Prince.
I want to eat apples and bananas. I need to eat apples and bananas. Why can't I eat apples and bananas?
Support the Feeding America nationwide network of food banks to help provide meals to those in need. Join us at feedingamerica.org.
Thank you for sticking with us. As October draws to a close, it's definitely starting to get colder.
I could not agree more, Jack. Fall seems to be coming to an end. Katie O'Keefe has more on this week's weather. Katie?
Thanks, guys. Here's your full 7-day weather forecast. Friday, we might see some snowflakes, but after that, the week is clearing up. Saturday, we're seeing a lot of sunshine, temperatures rising, 46 and a low of 36, a little humid. Not too windy though, only 10% chance of rain, but sunny. And on Sunday, we'll have some AM showers, a very breezy, winds up to 15 miles an hour. Sunday is also November 1st, and daylight saving time ends. So on Saturday night, you can set your clocks back 1 hour and get that much needed extra hour of sleep. Monday, we're seeing some sunshine again, a little windier, temperatures as high as 44. And on Tuesday, a little warmer, just in time for Election Day, a great day out at the polls. Few afternoon clouds, mainly sunny, and now we'll take you to temperatures around Connecticut. And temperatures around Connecticut, Northern towns, Torrington, Hartford, Norwich, Danbury, hovering around that 50-degree temperature mark. New Haven and New London, a little warmer, but as of now, getting colder, could see snow. Jack and Hephzibah, back to you.
Looking forward to a great weekend. Spring 2021 might seem far away, but class registration is right around the corner. Students will begin registering for classes the week of November 9th and will need to meet with their advisor via Zoom. The number of credits you have will determine your exact date of registration. Keep an eye on self-service for details.
And while students are thinking about next semester, some need to start thinking about next year. The Office of Residential Life sent out an email on Friday to students, informing them about the senior and junior housing selection process. To sign up, students must fill out the contract form and pay the $500 housing reservation fee before November 8th. The selection numbers will be posted on My Housing and self-service on November 11th after 1 p.m. Seniors can choose their housing on the 16th. Juniors will get their turn soon after on November 18th and 19th.
Meeting tomorrow night for the first time is the new student-run Dining Advisory Board. This is part of the innovations to improve Quinnipiac dining operations and hear students' opinions. Anyone is welcome. We need to take one more break, but when we come back, Ethan Logue tells us who won the latest World Series.
1 in 3 adults has pre-diabetes. 1 in 3. That means it could be you, your favorite brother, your other brother, you, your football buddy, your football buddy, you, the boss's boss. If 1 in 3 adults has pre-diabetes, that means it could be you, your barber, your barber's barber.
Nice work.
Thanks.
You, your plumber,
Breathe right into your foot.
your plumber's masseuse.
Yes.
You, your dog walker,
On your left.
your cat jogger. Or you, your co-pilot, your co-pilot's co-pilot. While 1 in 3 adults has prediabetes, with early diagnosis, prediabetes can be reversed. Take the risk test at doihaveprediabetes.org to know where you stand.
Major League Baseball played Game 6 of the World Series last night. Sports Pause executive producer Ethan Logue joins us in studio to tell us what happened.
Thanks, Jack and Hephzibah. We start with the biggest game of the week in the sporting world. Game 6 of the World Series between the Tampa Bay Rays and the Los Angeles Dodgers. The Dodgers in their third World Series in the last 4 years, but they have yet to win a championship in those 3 trips until last night. A 2-run 6th inning and a late home run by Mookie Betts in the 8th propelled the Dodgers to a 3-1 victory in their first championship since 1988. Dodgers shortstop Corey Seager took home World Series MVP. Seager had a staggering .400 batting average in the Fall Classic, along with 2 home runs and 5 RBIs. Dodgers pitcher and future Hall of Famer Clayton Kershaw also finally gets his first championship ring. Now switching from the diamond to the gridiron, the NFL season is in full swing, and teams' true colors are beginning to show as we continue to move along in the year. After 7 weeks, the Pittsburgh Steelers are the only team left to have not lost, as they currently sit at 6-0. However, on the other end of the spectrum, the New York Jets still have yet to win a game through 7 weeks, currently sit at a lofty 0-7. Russell Wilson, Aaron Rodgers, Kyler Murray, and Tom Brady are currently leading the MVP discussion at this point. And last year's Super Bowl champion, Kansas City Chiefs, look as though they haven't missed a beat from last year, as they sit atop the AFC West with a 6-1 record and have just added former All-Pro running back Le'Veon Bell to their backfield. And finally, the Quinnipiac men's ice hockey team has been ranked 13th in the latest USCHO preseason poll. The Bobcats hope to continue their success from last year, where they finished the season 21-11-2
and secured a first-round bye in the ECAC playoffs. The Bobcats will also see the return of some key players from last year, including Odin Tufto, Peter Deliberatore, and goaltender Keith Petruzzelli. The Bobcats are also bringing in first-year Ty Smolinic, who went 74th overall in this year's NHL entry draft, the highest the Bobcat has ever been drafted. And that's all on the sports side of things. Hephzibah, Jack, back to you.
Well, Hephzibah, I don't know about you, but I watched every game of that World Series, and as a Red Sox fan, watching Mookie Betts win another one with one of the Boston's rivals was kind of bittersweet.
Oh my God, I feel bad for you.
It's all good. This coming weekend, if you want to do some last-minute pumpkin picking, you might want to go to Lyman Orchards.
Yeah, Jack, I definitely know. I'm excited to pick out my first pumpkin this weekend. Let's take a look at the patch.
Lyman Orchards has been in business for over 100 years. John Lyman is the vice president, secretary, and treasurer of the Lyman Farm, otherwise known as Lyman Orchards.
I feel growing, is in my...
Every day he works alongside his family.
It's a heck of a lot better when the business is doing good. When it's doing bad, I think it's always difficult, and the family struggles with that. But fortunately, we've had a couple good years now, and we're hoping that we're on a good winning track right now.
At first, he wasn't sure if he wanted to be in this business.
I think inside I felt an attraction, but when I was in school, I didn't necessarily want to say, well, I'm definitely going to do it. I wanted to make sure. So when I graduated from college, I went and spent a year in Europe, worked on an apple orchard in Holland. And that year away convinced me that I did definitely want to come back and make a career with the family business.
John has 3 kids. He's unsure if they'll take over the family business, but there are more generations to come.
The 9th generation is actually 100 family members. So I suspect we'll get somebody from that generation. I've always felt the same way my parents told me is, do it if you want to do it. Don't feel obligated.
Lyman Orchards, you can do so many things. You can pick pumpkins like this one. You can go apple picking.
Besides apple picking, you can do so much more.
I'm for the corn maze and sunflower maze though. Okay. And we're gonna go ride a pony after.
It's really fun. And we get to show how much fun we have on Halloween.
For Q30 News, I'm
Super excited for the rest of fall, and I can tell you right now, Hephzibah, that this Halloween I will be at the SPB event this Saturday at 1 p.m. WQAQ is going to be there. I'm big in that organization, and I love, having that festive fall event.
Well, that sounds amazing, but I will probably be dressing up as one of the characters from Friends, so...
Hey, that's a good, which one? Which friend are you going to be?
Maybe Chandler. It's the easiest to pull off,
That would be good. I could totally see that.
So that is all the time we have this week. Thank you for tuning in. Join us again next Wednesday at 9:30.
Keep up with all of our content at Q30TV.com. Follow us on Twitter and Facebook at Q30 News for the latest updates. And don't forget to download our app, available on the App Store and Google Play.
From Jack, myself, and everyone behind the scenes, good night, Bobcats.